Welcome to the Real Estate Pros of Houston podcast, where host Mark Zachary talks to high-producing real estate agents in the Houston area about their story and what makes them so successful. Each episode, our guests will tell you what they're doing that works and what makes them so successful, as well as insights that will help you take your business to the next level. Now, here's Mark delivering a true real estate pro of Houston.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston. And we appreciate you joining us today. And today we've got Yesica Romero, and she is an agent here in the Houston area, very successful and has a good team. And so we only reach out to the top agents in the area, and we're glad that she's taken the time to spend with us today. So, Yesica, thank you so much.
No, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to do this.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'd like to just have a conversation and let people get to know you. You know, I know we do a lot of marketing and things, and we'll talk about business, but, you know, we'd like to let people know the personal side of our agents, you know, what makes them get up in the morning, where are they from and all that. So, you know, we'll get into the business side of things later, but tell us your story. How long have you been in Houston? Were you born here? Do you have a family here and all that kind of good stuff? And so, just tell us your story.
Yeah, so no, I was born in Mexico, and I was brought to the United States when I was 8 years old. So I've been here in Houston since I was 8. And I have my mom and my dad, and I have a brother and a sister that live here in Houston with me.
Wow. So did you speak any English when you got here?
No, I did not. No, it was fresh.
Oh, my
Everything
gosh.
was brand new, yes. But as a kid, it was a little hard, but I honestly didn't even know. Like one day they were like, we're moving to the United States, and we packed and moved, and I never went back until I was an adult. So,
Is that right?
Yes.
So you still have family down in Mexico?
Yes, I do. All of my family is in Mexico. We're the only ones that live here in the States.
Really?
Yes.
So what made your mom and dad say, all right, today is the day we're going? Do you have any idea?
They wanted a better future for us. They wanted to give us an opportunity to do better, bigger things than they thought that we could in Mexico. So
Yeah.
they just migrated us over here. And I mean, I'm very thankful that they did that because, like, you know, thank God that we do have a better life, and we're all doing well. Thank God.
Wow. That's really a neat story. I've interviewed a few that have come from Mexico, and man, they have such great attitudes towards working and being successful and providing a service that nobody else can, and they're thankful for being here and because of the opportunity. So, well, very, very cool. So tell me, what gets you up in the morning?
So
What's
I
your
am a single
motivation?
mom. I am a single mom. I have 2 kids, and they are like the beat of my heart. And I get emotional
Yeah.
talking about them.
Now, how old are they?
So my daughter is 19, and I have a 16-year-old boy. So my
Okay.
daughter is in college already. She plays soccer for the university, Texas. What is it? Prairie University.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I have a 16-year-old boy who is a sophomore in high school right now.
Okay. Well, that's it's easy to answer that question about what gets you up in the morning. They've been getting you up in the morning for a long time, huh?
Yes, they have.
Are they looking to follow in your footsteps in the real estate world?
Yes, so my daughter right now, she's studying business, but she eventually wants to do real estate with me. And then my son, it's more on the building side. Like he likes the signing, and he's looking into being an architect.
Where's he going to school?
So right now he's in high school. He doesn't know what college he is going to pick.
Okay. And then where's your daughter going?
My daughter is in Prairie View, Texas A&M.
Oh, that's
Prairie View.
right. She's playing soccer there. Sorry, I skipped right over that. So, got my niece is a big soccer player, and I was
Okay.
never really in interested at all in soccer until my niece started playing, and she's really good, and she's looking to go to play college as well. And my daughter married a soccer nut, so we're all caught up into soccer now. So, well,
Yeah,
what
no,
if did you play soccer as well
I
growing
did.
up?
I did. So my grandpa on my mom's side played soccer to the semi-professional level,
Really?
and then my brother played soccer in high school, and I'm 2 years younger than him, so we were in the same high school. So as soon as I started high school, I started playing soccer, and then my kid's dad, he also was a soccer player. So whenever she turned 4, my daughter hasn't played since she's 4. So we're just soccer.
Really?
Also, yeah, we're all a soccer family.
Now, did you play in college?
I did not. No, I
Okay.
had her. I had my daughter whenever I was 19, so right after
Okay.
high school. Hmm.
Well, you had to have learned some incredible life lessons from soccer to that translates into your business career.
Yes.
Correct? What do you
No.
think you
Yes.
learned from soccer that has helped you in your business?
So I feel that it's a lot of discipline, and then it is a lot of hard work as well. And from me, like putting my kids through, being in a club team, and the responsibility and the schedules and the time management and all of that helps me manage their time to manage my time and be able to be there for my clients as well as being there for the kids and being present.
Mm,
Because whenever I was growing up, I guess it's my parents were too busy working, just trying to provide for us, that
yeah.
they were not able to make any soccer matches. And like I was pretty good. Like I was captain of the team, and every time that I would score, I remember looking back and it's like, wow, like nobody's here for me.
Mm,
So therefore, I love this industry because I have been able to be at every event, at every game, at every practice, and being able to build that bond with my kids. So
yeah.
I do really love doing this just because of what I am able to do also on my personal life.
Yeah. This industry gives you a lot of freedom, but it demands so much of you at the same time. And um, I've been doing this 31 years now, and I've always enjoyed the fact that I got to go, and I'm going to try not to cry in this episode as well, because I know how hard that is to kind of start stepping back from their life, because you probably went to every soccer practice, maybe even coached and all that. Well, I did. I coached all my girls' softball teams, and they played all the way through high school. And man, you talk about gut wrenching, heartbreaking time when they go off to college and they start doing their own lives, and so that's tough. So I'm gonna have to pray for you, yes, because I know it's tough to let to lose the ability to go to soccer games, because you have done it since she was 4.
No, it was really hard whenever she first went off to college. I mean, that's my mini best friend, like we do everything
Yeah.
together. We have always done everything together. And even though my son is still at home, a boy is very quiet
Yeah.
compared to,
No,
my daughter
we're
coming
different.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter coming home and telling me everything and, every single detail that happened about her day. And with my son, it's like, how was your day? Good.
No,
What
it's
did you
fine.
learn? No, no, like he really doesn't like continue a conversation. And with her, I mean, it's completely different. But thank God she stayed in Texas because she had a couple of offers from several different universities. So I'm very
Wow.
glad that she picked to stay, 40 minutes from home. So I am able to still go to some games, home games,
Yeah.
but not all. Not whenever she travels outside of the state, like I don't go with her because I still have my 16-year-old
Yeah.
at home. But yeah, it was really tough at the beginning, but now I kind of feel like it's I have a little bit more time for me to focus on my goals now that
Yeah.
she already accomplished, one of the major ones for her age.
Right. When my girls they went to Texas A&M, and it's only an hour up the road, but I thought that it was like across the country, and it might as well been, because I was so heartbroken that they were, even they were just not going to be living in my house anymore, and that's what killed me. And then when my
Yes.
daughter went to uh, PA school, she got accepted to one in West Virginia, and oh my gosh, that was. I just can't. It was awful. It was awful, but it went fast, and it always goes fast. And I look back and think, man, I sure wish I was coaching their softball teams again. But
Now
grandkids are fun.
I remember the running around and like, tournaments, and one played in Austin and the next day the other one
Oh
played in
yeah,
Dallas. And I remember being like, guys, like, I'm only one person. Like,
yeah,
I can't wait till this is over. And I look back and I'm like, wow, like it went, I mean, she's been playing since she's 14. So now she's 19. So those, 15 years just like went by so
yeah,
fast that now
yeah.
with my son, I'm like, okay, you can slow down. I'm not
Right,
in a rush anymore. I
right.
do miss the running around for sure.
I know
Yeah,
it's a tough transition to
it is.
go through. So, well, what is success? We're going to kind of shift to the business side of things. What does success mean to you? How do you define it?
So to me, when I first got in the industry, it was more of like, oh, like realtors make a lot of money. And then I started working with people, with my community, with Hispanic people that have gotten, they've lied, people lied to them, people take their money, they end up like that's. And whenever I first started working with one family, and they were just so thankful because they have gone through several different agents that give up on them halfway through the process, and they promised, and then like they never had their house. And whenever I started working with them, it kind of like reminded me of my parents, because my parents were immigrants, and they were also taken advantage of. And
Mm,
whenever I started working with people that reminded me of my parents, and I was able to help them, and then they're so grateful and so thankful, and they continue to refer you, and they genuinely appreciate you for doing this for them, for making a dream come true for them. That is success to me, to be able to help people genuinely just because I want to be able to help.
yeah. Now, how long have you been doing this?
This is my 8th year.
Okay. Wow. Well, you hit some on some things that are so true, that if you take care of people and you stay in touch with them, eventually they're going to need you again. But I think so many people are transactional focused. They get that check, and they're off
That's
chasing the
it.
next deal, and they're not. They never reach out to their past clients anymore. And I used to teach classes, and it was like, this business ought to get easier the longer you're in it, because you're building a database of people that you have already helped. They're passing out your name because you did do a great job. But as an industry, and I'm throwing us more loan officers in that, we don't do a good job of staying in touch with people. We just keep chasing the next deal.
Right. And I think me with my clients, I try to build a relationship, right? By the end of the transaction, 7 out of 10 clients, we end up being friends. And, I get invited to parties, I get invited to weddings, birthdays, like to this, because I don't see them as a paycheck. I do see my clients as people, and I give the service that I would want to have received. Because
Hmm.
prior to me becoming an agent, I had already bought and sold 3 properties. And whenever I became an agent, I was like, oh shoot, like, well, my realtor didn't tell me about an inspection. Like, my realtor didn't tell me, that like this was an option period, and what the earnest money check meant. Like, I literally was just like, oh, do this, do that, do, no explanation. And since, I mean, I was 19 at the time for my first house. So it was kind of like, okay, well, I just want to get the house. What do I do? And so I just followed directions, didn't know what I was doing.
Hmm.
So I don't want my clients to walk out of a transaction being like, oh, whoa, well, like God knows how we got here, but we got here. I want for
Yeah.
them like to educate people through the process. That way, they're gonna walk out knowing exactly what they did, and how is it that we got to the closing table.
Do you use video to relay that, like on a YouTube channel, or what's your way of providing the education?
So in my 8 years, I literally have just been, just doing what I feel that I need to do. But now that it's a lot more people, and then I have a team of 8 agents. We are actually coming up with videos and flyers to be able to
Mm.
tell the client, like, okay, so this is a pre-approval process, and this is what it's going to be. And just so that it will be like, click send there. That's an explanation, because I literally will sit with my clients and talk to every single step and
Yeah.
coach them and educate them. So I do feel that that's part of my business that has allowed for me to be successful, because I am very hands on with every transaction. But then I also feel that, the way to give information, that these are changing with content. So I do want, well, like us as a team, we want to keep up with the trends. So we
Yeah.
do have a videographer now that we create content with. Um, and this is part of it, creating the videos to educate our community.
That's awesome. Yeah, I use YouTube and videos a lot to update and to educate. And we have certain milestones that we send out to let them know what the appraisal has been ordered. Here are and it has a video that is attached, and it talks about here are the 5 things that could happen on an appraisal. It could come back with repairs needed, low value, high value, and so
We don't
we
like
try to,
those.
yeah. So we try to answer all those questions before they even ask, because they don't know to even ask those questions, especially
Right.
if they're first time home buyers. So we think that, all right, if more than one person ask us the same question, then we
We
probably
need a
need to
video.
shoot a video on it and then put it
Right.
out on our YouTube channel, and then include that in our milestone and information emails and texts and things like that. Technology has made it so easy to do those things. And man, I remember, when I first started, we had to do verifications of employment by mail, and now we can just send a, an email, or we can use pay stubs. So the technology has made this industry a lot easier to deal with.
Yes,
But
and I mean, at the beginning, I was so shy to talk on camera. I couldn't even say my full name. It's literally breaking out of like this,
yeah,
mold or little box that I had been in my whole life, and just being
yeah,
comfortable with seeing, like how I sound and how I look, basically, to be able to
yeah.
put myself on camera. But it's a process, and like we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, so many people think they have to, compete with a $500,000 commercial, and the fact is, people just want to get to know you. And if
Right.
if that's the way you look, that's the way you look. If that's the way you sound, that's what people really need to see. So, because you're going to lose every time, and I'm going to lose every time we try to compete with a KPRC commercial, because they
Yeah.
have hundreds of thousands of dollars to make everything perfect and make it you know 15 takes to get one good one. So kudos to
Right.
you for doing it, just jumping in there, doing it, and letting everybody see the real you.
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Well, during this time that you have been in this business, your kids were young or younger. Was there ever a time where you thought, "Man, this is not worth it. I want to do something else. I want an 8 to 5 job so I could have a set income, because I know it can go up and down." So, but was there ever a time you said, "I need to do something else"?
No, never.
Really?
No, I actually, whenever I started, so I'm a single mom, and whenever I started, like I will be so active on Facebook, like, oh my god. So I always said, as soon as my son turns 4, I'm going back to school. Like, I want to
Mhm.
have a degree. So I always put, oh my god, whatever on Facebook. I want to do this, and I want to go back to school. I don't know, and then like people will comment on it, and I like, oh, I want to lose weight, or I want to start, like, I don't know, doing nails, because I used to do nails before real estate.
Okay.
And so I will always be really active on Facebook. So whenever I graduated college, and I graduated December 2015, and I was working in the oil field, and then the oil field crashed in 2016. So I got laid off in 2016, and whenever I was looking for a job, one of my friends, she had just bought a house, and her realtor told her, like, hey, like, you actually should look into real estate. Like, I think that you would do really good. You have the look, really pretty. So you just have the look, and I think that you will be really good. So since I had got laid off, she told me, like, hey, like, let's do like, let's be realtors. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know, like, I'm serious. I was like, I don't even know, like, what is it to be a realtor? So then we went to school, to get information. And then my husband at the time, he was like, no, you just graduated college. Like, that was brutal. Like, I do not want you to go back to school. And then whenever he actually looked into it, and he's like, hey, well, they can make their own time. They make their own schedule. Like, that will work because our kids are active in sports. So
Yeah.
then that's why I started getting into real estate. But I posted about it on social media, like, oh, working on my realtor license, 1 class down, 2 classes down, and the certificate. I unknowingly I was building an audience for real estate. So whenever I posted on there that I had already had my license, I immediately picked up a builder. Like, it was a flipper, and that was my first listing the day after I got my
Is
license.
that right?
So then from there, I remember I got my license in November 2016 or 17. And then the January was my first closing. So then I was like, I like
Man.
this. And then I just pursued it. And my first year, I closed, if I remember correctly, it was like 20 something transactions.
Oh my
And then,
God, Jessica, that's
yes,
amazing.
yes, I just, got the ball and ran with it. And I love this industry. I
Yeah.
really do. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy being part of somebody, putting a check mark next to a dream, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you were to go back to when you started, what would you tell yourself based on what you know today? Would you make any changes, I guess?
Um, that's a really good question. I feel that in the beginning it was a lot. It was a lot of unknowns, and a lot of different transactions, and learning how to deal with different personalities and different clientele. And I feel that if I would probably change anything, um, but I also feel that that's what makes me me, that I am so invested. Like,
Yeah.
I am just so invested with every transaction, just trying to help as much as I can. So to be honest, I don't know if I would change anything, because I feel like that person is who got me here.
Well, everything that you've gone through has made you what you are today, right? Yeah.
Yes. So I honestly, I cannot think of one thing that I can say like I wouldn't do. I have learned to time manage better, in the sense of
Okay.
like learning when to stop. Like, okay, at this time, if it's after 9 p.m., I'm not, anything can wait till the next morning.
9,
Um,
9 o'clock. Well, that's pretty late. That's putting in a lot of hours because I got a feeling you get up fairly early.
yes, so I have to be up at 4 because I have to work out every day for just my mental health. That's how I function. I have to work out. So
4 o'clock.
I that's the only time that I can like schedule it in. Because if it doesn't happen at that time, it's not going to happen. just because I
Jessica,
stay busy.
I've taught classes. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've taught classes where you can't even get people to show up at a 9 or 10 o'clock class, and all I talk to a lot of realtors, and this is probably why 93% of the realtors don't make it after a couple of years, but it's almost impossible to reach some of these people even at 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning, and you've already been rolling for 5 hours.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. It's easy to see why you're a real estate pro of Houston, that's for sure, and so successful in your business.
Yes, I like we were raised, and I mean, I come from like literally nothing, like really, really, really low income, family. And yes, we were in the States, but we were in like the very, like, we were really, really poor, like we are really struggling. And my dad always told us, like, if you want something, you have to sacrifice whatever it takes. And one of those things are sleep. Now that I'm in a different position, I do, like I said, I try to time manage to where, like, okay, I need to turn it off.
Yeah.
And I'll work out, and at 6 a.m. I'm already back at, like, I'm already back home and just ready to work. So, and having
Wow.
that discipline has helped me, do more. And then right now
Very.
with my team, that it takes up, a lot of time as well. I feel like if I didn't have that, extra hours of like the early morning, I probably will be like working till like late hours of the night, and that will take away time from, my family.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned your team, and I was going to ask about your team
Yes.
later on, but I'll ask right now. Are you looking to grow your team? I heard you said you had 8 agents. We have
Hmm.
people that will contact us and say, hey, what's their contact number? Because I really like the way she operates, and I would like to maybe work for her team or his team. So, are you looking to grow? And if so, we'll give all of your contact information at the end of the show. But talk about your team a little bit.
Yeah. So I always knew that I want to have my own brokerage at a point, but I want to know how to manage a small group of people first before venturing off, to be in a company. So, and my current broker, Search Realty, Rob Villanueva, he has been supportive of that ever since I joined 2 years ago. With him, that was the main reason why I left my brokerage before him, because they didn't allow teams there, and I had already been in the industry for 5 years. So it was kind of like, okay, what is it next? Like, what's the next step for Yesi? And for me, it was like, now it's time for me to start a team, and for me to, help other agents, you know, eh, be successful in their careers. A lot of the agents that we have, there, one of her that I'm super proud of her. I met her at a networking event, and we kind of just, started talking. And she was like, I'm with this company. I have been there for 5 months, and I have only been able to do one lease. And to me, it was kind of like, okay, so like, do they give you leads? Do they teach you how to capture leads? Like, are you running ads on Facebook? Like, like, what are you doing as a brand new agent to get leads? And then she was
Yeah.
like, no, well, I'm just like waiting, like, just for them to kind of like throw me a bone. And to me, it's like, you can't do that. Like in real estate, like, you can't just sit back and wait for somebody to come at your door and be like, hey, can you help me with this? You have
Right.
to look for it. Like, that's the hustle behind it. So then the next day she called me and she was like, hey, like, I really want to move to your team. So she moved in November 2023. We are in February 2024, and she has closed 4 transactions with me. She has 5 active clients
Wow.
right now and 3 under contract. So to me, I,
Is
I
that
take
right?
I take so much pride in it, right? Because I feel that that's what I want to do. Because the mentor that I had when I started, he helped me and he coached me
Hmm.
to, this is what you do. Kind of like, this is the formula. Do what
Yeah.
like, if you want, either you want to be successful or not, but this is what it is. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I've told them, like, I'm going to tell you my script. I'm going to tell you everything. At the end of the day, you make it your own and you make it work. But in this business, you have to work. Now you have to hunt, basically, so you can eat.
Yeah. So are you looking to add more agents this year, or what's your goal in regards to your team?
So my goal is to get to 10 agents plus myself. So right now I have, with me is 8. So I still have room for 3 more agents. And after that, I am currently working on my broker's license. So
Okay.
I should have that within the next couple of months. And before the end of 2024, I will open up my own brokerage.
I got a feeling that's definitely going to happen.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
quite the go getter. You're very encouraging.
Yes, it will happen. God willing, it
Yeah.
will happen.
So what are some struggles that you or your team are having right now?
Struggles.
Hmm.
Um,
Inventory, rates, any of those things that seem to be knocking you back a little bit.
so rates for sure. But with that, it's kind of like in this industry, I feel you have to accommodate and just kind of go with the trend. For example, the there goes my AirPod again. The like the price point of some buyers that we have, whenever the interest rates went up, that price point came down, right? So
Hmm.
then it's like, how can you help them still get what they want whenever the house prices are not coming down, right? So then you have to be creative. So like, okay, new builders have lower interest rates, right? Which will help you qualify, like bring your budget back up a little bit more. So I feel like
Yeah.
I educate my team, with having different, like different solutions for different scenarios.
Yeah.
And the team that I have been able to build in regards to like lending, title, insurance, inspector, like all of that, I only work with people that I feel that they genuinely want to help.
Yeah.
It's more than a paycheck. I know this is how we make our living, but it is more than a paycheck for all of us. So them having those right connections and being able to come up with a strategy to help every client, and and for us or for me, nobody gets left behind. Whether you need credit repair, whether you need help with taxes, whether you need help, we will always have a person that is going to help you achieve that milestone. Even if it's, I had a client that it took her 4 years to be able to buy a house.
I bet
So
that was a glorious day when she got it.
that, I mean, that, like, like now we're like close and we're friends. And I know that, eventually, like, she'll refer me out and she'll, like, do all that. But I have built a relationship with her, and I mean, whenever she closed on her house, it literally was kind of like if I closed on my first house, because
Yeah.
I know what took to get there. And whenever we actually did get to the finish line, I mean, we were both crying.
Yeah. It's so important to find the teams that do whatever it takes to get people into a house. We actually changed our complete revenue structure so we could lower our rates to get them, very very competitive rates. So yeah, we were looking for new ways to do things because we did know, the rates have scared people. But I've been doing this 31 years, like I said earlier. The rates for the majority of my time, probably 29 of those 31 years, has been somewhere in the sixes. But somewhere, the last 2 years, everybody thinks that was normal, and it's real. That really wasn't the norm. They're somewhere between five and a half and six and a half for the entire career that I've been in this business. So so we just needed to find out, okay, how do we get those rates back down to make it attractive to people that may be sitting on the fence. So that's great, great stuff that you put those teams together.
Yes, we
So
and
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
you
what I
go
was
ahead.
gonna say. Yeah, what I was gonna say is that we do try, like our best to just learn what's going on, learn the trends, and study, read, stay informed with real estate and what's happening.
Hmm.
One of our my brokerage, Sir Realty, he's like, be the resource. Just be the resource and be knowledgeable of what's going on. Like, we can't call ourselves, oh, we're real estate experts, and then they ask you, well, what happened with, I don't know, the market, and you're like, well, I don't know, like, like, you have to
Yeah.
know what's going on, and part of it is to continue to educate yourself. Read something in regards to real estate every day.
Right. Right. Well, I was about to ask a question that had give me three of your non-negotiables. I think you just you gave me one of them right there. But what are two other non-negotiables that must happen on a daily or weekly basis for you to be successful?
You have to chase. You have to make at least 5 to 10 calls, to people every day. And what my boyfriend always tells me, it might take 100 calls and one of those will say yes, but that will be the winner. That will be
Yeah.
the one that makes up for the other 99 calls. You
Yeah.
cannot give up. Well, just because I did 3 calls and they all said no, or not right now, or not today, it doesn't mean that there's not, somebody out there that's looking. But we're not going to find it if we don't look for it. So to me, I always tell my team, you at least have to make 5 to 10 contacts a day with, follow up. Follow up is the name of the game. Like, you
Yeah.
cannot be successful if you don't follow up. Whether people
Wait,
on the
Jessica, are you sure that just one call isn't enough?
yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's
Yeah.
like, so, and I feel like a lot of us, and I count myself in that, real estate agents, whenever we only post the closing picture and we
Yeah.
didn't post, like how I was crying in my car, 3 days ago because of something that happened. Like, we do create a false, or misconception of what real estate really is about.
Yeah.
It is, you have to make calls. That's one non-negotiable. And then two non-negotiable is, you cannot be afraid of social media. You have to
Mm.
post. You have to create content. You have to step out of your shell. And that, it took me to switch from my previous brokers to my new brokers, because, like I said, I didn't even know how to say, like, my name is, yeah, and I know I have a last name, I just can't think of it in front of a camera because I'm so
Yeah.
scared. Because I'm,
Yeah.
in my head, I'm thinking, like, it's my hair okay? How do I sound? Like, is my posture okay? Like, there's just so many things
Yeah.
that, like, what he actually had a coach, and he's like, okay, we'll talk. So I started talking. He's like, well, so how come you're not embarrassed to talk in front of me? Because the way you sound in front of me, that's the way you sound in front of the camera. That's the way everybody in your life has ever heard
Yeah.
you. So why are you afraid to talk? And that
Right.
kind of unlocked, that mind block in my head. Well, yeah, I mean, this is how I sound, and, like, there's nothing that I can do, like, in
Yeah.
regards to my voice. So that helped me a lot. So no matter what you post, no matter what, just be active on social media, because for me, that has been my bread and butter.
Yeah. I taught a class about video marketing, and I've taught it for years. And we would get people up in front of the class, and we would say, okay, I'm just going to interview you and ask you about your business, and say, and so I'd say, so and so, tell me your name and how long you've been doing this. And it was like, hi, my name is Don. And I'm like, cut. Don, is that the way you talk to me normally? And no, it's not. Well, just talk to me. Stop thinking that this is a camera and this is
Mhm.
just be yourself. But a lot of people won't do it.
Yeah, I know, but I understand. But it does take the right mentor to get
Yeah,
to there. And to
yeah,
me, it was Rob. Like, he is an awesome, broker, a leader, and, he is one of our biggest supporters. And I feel that has helped me a lot to be able
yeah,
to grow more
yeah.
than whenever I got here, for sure.
Well, I told you this 30 and 40 minutes would fly by.
I
We're
know.
at 39 minutes right now, and I've got probably the most uh, most important question
I'm sorry.
No problem. I can edit that out.
Yes, please.
So what I have I think probably the most important question that I can ask anybody, and I've got a feeling that, and this is where some people will start break down and cry, but um, I think I know what I'm going to hear from you, but I'm going to ask anyway. What kind of legacy do you want to leave to your kids? And what do you want them to think about you when you have had enough and you want to retire? What do you want them to remember about you?
I want for them to remember that I was always there, and that it always takes a family and love and patience and unconditional support to be able to be somebody in life. Like I said, I come from nothing. Like when I tell you nothing, I mean nothing. And for me to have my kids already start way ahead of where I started, I want for them to go way further than how further I can go. So but I wouldn't have been able to be here without the support from my family, from my close friends. That, like I said, it's only my brother, my sister, my dad, and my mom here. So I have built a family. My support system are my friends, and you always go back to that. Like, always
Yeah.
stay humble, and always know that, no matter how much you have or how much you achieve, you will always need somebody. And in order to have somebody, you have to be there for people. So I do want my kids to obviously do better than me, but I also want for them, to love and enjoy being surrounded by family, and never forget that that's where it all started, with family.
Mm, great answer. I'm surprised you were able to hold it together.
I know, me too, because I'm a crier. I am such a crier, so I'm actually really proud of myself that I have been able to control that through this
Uh,
interview, because I probably would have
yeah.
cried a couple of times already.
Well, when you get to talking about your kids and the reason that you get up in the morning and the people that you get up for, it can be a very emotional time to think back on all of that. And man, you're so young and you've got
Thank
such a
you.
bright future in front of you, and to have two young kids. I mean, they're young to if you compare them to my age, but I know they don't think they're young, but there's kids and they're looking at mom saying, "Man, look what she has done from the time she came to the U.S. At the age of 8." I'm actually trying to think who's going to play you in the movie.
Oh my god. No, and it's a lot of responsibility that I feel on my shoulders, because I want for my kids to grow up and being, like, I good people. I just want to raise good, responsible, successful adults. And I
Hmm.
want to contribute to the society by bringing, by raising them, for what I think is right. Like, they didn't come with a manual. So I'm just out here,
Right,
doing the best that I
right.
can. But I am very, very, very proud of them. I mean, like, and I told my daughter since she was little, was like, I want to be a professional soccer player, right? And I told her, like, I can sit here and I can take you to practice, and I can pay for this, and I can drive you there, but if you don't put in the work, it's not going to happen. And in
Yeah,
order for you to, that's a big dream. So for you to get there, that's a lot of work. The bigger the dream, the more the sacrifice, the more the work. Are you willing to do it? And she played for I'm Mexican, but her dad is Salvadorian, and she played for the U17 national soccer team in the World Cup
wow.
2 years ago. So right now
Oh
she's
my
gonna go back.
gosh.
She's gonna go back and play for the U20 El Salvador national team in June.
Man.
So I am super proud of her, because she knows that with hard work and, perseverance, determination, consistency, like, it's just so much things that go into it. But at the end of the day, I mean, whenever she was playing on TV, that was, like, uh, I mean, I can't even tell you that. I am
Yeah.
beyond proud of her.
I bet you are, and I know that they are proud of you. And whether or not your son says it, I bet she's like, "Wow, my mom is tops. And so,
Oh,
well, I
thank
tell you
you.
what, I didn't get to ask half of the questions I want to ask,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but we want to have you back on part
Oh,
two of Yesica Romero. So we would love to have you back. Could you do that for us?
oh, yes, of course. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I talking about all of this. It doesn't. It's not a lot that I go back and think like, wow, this is all that has happened, and
Yeah.
So thank you for having me. I really do appreciate you reaching out and having me do this for sure.
Oh, for sure. Well, how would people get in touch with you? Either email, phone call. What's the best way to for people to reach out to you or your team?
My phone number is
Yeah.
713-409-4808.
Okay. And do you have an email or a website that you direct people to?
Yes, so we do have a website. It's propelpropertypartners.com.
Okay. And I'll put all of that in the description of the podcast as well. So look for all that, the contact information in the description on YouTube and the podcast, different networks. So we'll make sure that anybody that wants to reach you can get you and visit with you about real estate.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing this.
Yes, thank you again. But guys, my name is Mark Zachary, and I'm a broker and owner of Next Step Home Loans, and we do mortgages for a living, refinances, purchases anywhere in the state of Texas. So if you need information on that, where I come from, information is free. So don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put all my contact information on the description as well. But we can't thank you enough, Miss Yesica, and look forward to having you back.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
Likewise.
We'll
Bye.
see you. All right. Take
Okay,
care,
bye-bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston. Follow us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple, and iHeartRadio, and check out our main website at nextstephomeloans.com for more information on mortgage news, loan programs, and getting pre-approved for a home loan or set up a quick home buying consultation. We'll see you next week with another episode of Real Estate Pros of Houston.